guys? Welcome back at Digital Gate Studios. Today I got Jesse with me.
Let's go. You're back.
I'm back, and I missed the Beelzemon Cup. I was desperately wanting to play it. I love these purple-only formats, specific color formats. Bandai, since you're obviously subscribed to our channel, keep doing more of these. But guys, I really wanted to share the deck I would have played. Purple Digiburst Garurumon.
This is a deck you've had built forever.
I have had this deck built, and every set I've updated it, and I just love it. It's one of my favorite play styles, one of my favorite decks. I'm a huge fan of this guy.
Yeah.
Huge fan. And I'm not even a Garurumon fanboy. Like, I've never been, but this specific card is turning me into a Garurumon
It's a promo
fanboy.
that came out, what, in like BT
Four?
I
Four?
think it was
Yeah.
a box topper for Great
Yeah, 'cause
Legends.
you got
Or
this
not the promo pack.
Grandis.
Oh, Dash Pack.
Yeah, because you got this, Grandis, and Black Ogre, and
Yeah.
now all three of those are making comebacks. Grandis has been around, obviously, for a little bit.
Yeah.
But the Black Ogre making huge waves in Nationals, Ultimate
Cups.
Cups,
Yeah.
and now this, I think, could easily be one of the best purple only for Beelzemon style decks. So
Yeah.
let's dive into the deck profile, shall we?
Let's do it.
So I'm sure if you are a fan of this deck, you've seen a bunch of different ways to play it, and it's kind of like pick your favorite, you know? So let me tell you why I play mine the way I play it. So for me, it starts with the eggs, right? Sunomon. This is like the only time I've used this Sunomon.
Not Demi-Mera.
Not Demi-Mera, exactly. So I'm a huge fan of Demi-Mera. I love the card, the drawing, the searching, all that stuff is great. But in this particular deck, right, I like to take advantage of being able to kind of choose when I trash things. And I'm not necessarily going for just, yeah, it's purple, so I'm still going to do blind swinging, but I'm kind of more trashing when I want to be able to draw. And I really like how well it pairs with Lobbermon, right? So you trash a card, you're drawing 2 cards off that.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So a lot of good use, and I think as I get the rest of the deck laid out, you guys will understand why I use Sunomon. I do go back and forth on a 5th egg in this deck, and that would 100% be Demi-Meramon. And it's not like the end of the world when you get the Demi-Meramon versus, you know, the Sunomon, right?
Yeah.
So let's get into the level 3s. So we had this wonderful new addition to purple in general as another level 3. Purple is just still holding on to the title of having the best level 3s
Oh, you're coming
for
out swinging.
decks. 4 Ignite-Mons. Such powerful removal. I mean, when attacking, delete one of your Digimon, delete one of theirs at the same level.
And you get the check.
Unsuspended Digimon of the same level, and
Yeah.
you get the check. Very strong card. I like the 4 cost on it too. So if like it's on the board, I can hard play like a 3 cost level 3 and kind of get around Death X if I need to. But I think this is the deck that takes advantage of the inheritable the most. So for those of you who are fans of our channel, well, if you're not a fan, like, comment, subscribe, get in on the goodness, join our community, come be a fan. But we recently posted like a Lobbermon Turbo deck list where I talk about this once per turn when you play Digimon by effect, gain a memory. So the reason why that's so important, right, is because we have Blue Mera as well with the exact same inheritable, right? Because it's all turns. We have the Digiburst MetalGarurumon, and we have a wonderful 7-cost option called Nailbone. Nailbone is killer. It plays 2 bodies. That allows you to gain 2 memory, especially if you play the option for free by Digibursting, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's kind of the whole mentality of the deck is we have these inheritables, we have still good attacking, we have good removal, we have just a very strong level 3 in this particular deck, and I'm very excited to get into the rest of the list now. No more sidetrack, lollygagging, etc. You know what? We'll just leave him here for now. We'll just leave him here so we know what we're playing. It's the theme of the deck. The next level 3 I'm playing is a 3 of Drachmon. So very excited for this. So this is, guys, if you play this list, I would love to hear you guys' take on the level 3s on kind of what 3s do you play, how many do you play, because this is the level that I'm struggling the most with the ratios, right? There are so many good level 3s in purple. You have Lobbermon, Tapirmon, Ignite, Drachmon, Elecmon, even just 2 costs if you want to play 2 costs, where to me, I had to make some room for some of the pieces that I made. So I do a 3-3 split with the Drachmon and the Psychmon as my next level 3s.
You still play the Psychmon.
Still play the Psychmon, right? So Drachmon, let's get into that. On play, return a 1-cost or 7-cost purple option back to your hand. So Nailbone makes it so you don't activate on plays when you play it, right? It's probably fair for the game.
That'd be broken.
But
yeah.
still being able to grab Drachmon, to be able to grab options from trash, to then being able to Digiburst this MetalGarurumon when you need to, I think is really, really useful. Or if you just need to happen to grab a fly bullet for some removal, right? You got the Drachmon to do all that and set you up. I love grabbing Nailbone, and just how many times can I play Nailbone in a turn? That's the theme of this deck. For those of you who have seen me play this particular deck at locals, you guys have seen me play Nailbone way too many times in one turn for sure. Psychmon. So let's talk about this. So Psychmon is the level 3 that I am choosing. That is the slot that is either my Gazimon or my Psychmon, my kind of anti-opponent, what they're doing card. Gazimon's really important.
It varies with your meta, right?
It varies with the meta, right? So if you like Gazimon, put Gazimon there. If you want to do a 2-2 split, put a 2-2 split. I'll just put my next... These are my last level 3. So these are all the level 3s in the deck. I'll just put them there so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about, right? There's not a lot of room in this deck, especially for all the options we have to play, take advantage of Digiburst, etc. So I opted with the Psychmon because my strategy is to play wide boards with MetalGarurumon. What card does wide board hate, Jesse?
Death X.
Death X. So I gotta stop Death X with Psychmon. And it also does a great job against cross decks as well. So it's kind of one of those, blue flare as well, right? It does a lot of work against other decks. I just opted for Psychmon instead of Gazi. That's kind of more a personal preference. If you decide you want to do Gazi, let me know in the comments. Lobbermon, I really like in this deck. And I'm torn if I want to play this as a 3 of and Drachmon as a 2 of. I go back and forth.
What is the on-play on Lobbermon again?
Draw one, trash. Excuse me. Trigger, draw one first, then trash a card.
Gotcha, okay.
So this really helps set up Sunomon.
Yeah.
It also helps set up additional cards that we need in trash. It helps set up a fun little level 5 called Skullgreymon.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine having this on board. You've already Digibursted, right? And you just want to hard play a Lobbermon, right? And then you get to trash a Skullgrey, retuck it underneath that MetalGarurumon, and then you can even do it twice. There's other cards that trash in the deck. Boom, you're reloading this MetalGarurumon to Digiburst again.
And play options for free.
So the Lobbermon's really important, but at the beginning of the game, we have other search and kind of moves that we like a little bit more. So I opted just for a 2 of for when I'm trying to set this up. But again, I'm really on the fence whether or not this should be a 2 of and that should be a 3 of. So let me know what you guys try, and I would love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments. We're going to keep moving on now, shall we? Let's move into level 4s. This is where I'm having the most fun of the deck, right, is the level 4s. And to me, this is such a no-brainer, but seeing other people's versions, seeing other people's lists, and the fact that I've been playing this since BT4, I know why I play the cards that I play. So let's talk about Ginkaku Promote.
Oh, well, I mean, if you're nail boning, that makes a lot of sense.
You nail bone,
yeah.
you rush. But there's another reason I like this card.
Digivolves for 1?
It digivolves for 1. So now, all of a sudden, you can make a ridiculous stack. Let's just humor me for a sec. I'm going to mess up my nice, pretty stack here, right? Boom. 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 And because I've done this multiple times in a game, right? This can be 1 stack.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously, that's extreme. That means you've gotten every Ginkaku Promote. 1 option Digiburst, 1 option Digiburst, 1 option Digiburst, and that's not even including the level 5.
Yeah.
Right? And that's not including Skullgreys you tuck underneath. The Ginkaku Promote is so important in this deck because it allows you to not only draw your pieces, increases that draw power, but you can just create a ginormous stack in the raising for only 1 per evolution here, especially if you're already on like a cheap evolution like this Devimon blocker, to just create a really fat stack that you can then Digiburst later on. So that's kind of the strategy of the deck. You're kind of, again, when you Digiburst this, you then have it in the trash to Nailbone with Rush, so it's just a win-win situation. Like, you kind of have to do it that way, right?
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of that for sure. That's kind of the card of the deck. Forgive me, guys. Now I have to clean everything up because I had to show you. I was too excited. Oh, it's a little crooked.
We like the
you guys will forgive me. You guys will forgive me. Next card, we're playing 4 of Devimon blockers. It's a great target for Nailbone. It's again, I think with Nailbone, I prefer the promote because I'm kind of going that aggressive route. But if you need blockers, you got it. If you need it,
it's situational, depending on like the state of the game. You know, the state of your hand, the state of your opponent.
You know, and it does trigger insecurity like Nailbone, so it can play a level 4. So if you want to play a blocker with the level 4, you can. But it's also one cost evolution. Again, turboing, allowing you to create big stacks for cheap. All sorts of goodies if, you know, you're hard playing a Lobbermon, and then you Digivolve for 1 a Devimon to choke your opponent. There's all sorts of good moves with
and
this.
And there's like 13 arts of that card, so you can pick your poison.
The illustration one's my favorite, but I totally forgot to grab them and put them in here before I do this. The only knock I have is that one's not foiled, the illustration one. I do like the foiling here. I like this one as well.
It's not as foiled,
yeah. Anyways, next one. So now this is a fun one where I'm going to retract an earlier statement where the level 4s are not obvious because of this card, the Ogremon. You would think, why are you playing Ogre? And this is it for my level 4s. So that's 12 3s, 11 4s. I really like the Ogre. Let's say turn 1, they play a Shoutmon, right? Give you 4. You give them 1 back. You trash a card from hand to then delete that Shoutmon before they have a tamer set up, right? Cool. All sorts of good removal. This deletes level 4 lowers. It deletes a blocker. It deletes Mechanori, right? And it's nice because it helps getting that that trash started. It helps get you a 4 on board. It's removal. He's a swing later on. I've just been a big fan of this Ogremon in this deck. He just does me a lot of work, and every time I try to take it out, I find myself going back, being like, I wish I had that Ogremon again. That way I can, you know, have good removal for my opponent.
Not over till it's Ogre?
It's not Ogre. It's never Ogre. Next card. This is a brand new card as well. I've already hinted at it. You know what? I've already kind of teased the level 5, so we'll just put them all down. How's that sound?
Throw them down.
We'll just throw them down. So we were playing 4 Blue Maras and 4 Skull Greys.
4 and
now,
4.
I was playing a 1 of, sometimes even a 2 of the BT8 Chimeramon. That is a white card. I'm a huge fan of that in this deck.
I was going to ask you if you played that.
I did play it before, and I've had a lot of success with it, but this deck profile is kind of like, I don't want to say optimized, that's not the word. Like, this is more geared towards the Beelzemon purple-only stuff. So this is for that format. So, spoiler alert, there's all purple cards in this deck. That's it. No white. So you could very easily go back to that Chimeramon. I didn't hate having even 10 level 5s because I had 2 Chimeras. A lot of good ways to create
gives you like
fat
one more
stacks.
Burst, right? Because you're going to probably put another 2 cards.
Yeah, so you take 2 stacks with 4s. If they have 3s and a 2 underneath, combine them together with a 5, add something from trash. Now you have a ginormous stack that you Digivolve for free into your 5 for MetalGarurumon. So I definitely love the Chimera. Definitely a fan of it. But let's talk about these 5s that we are playing for the Beelzemon Cup version, right? Blue Maramon has Retaliation. He's only a 6K. This was Lady Dev, so this was a really easy swap, but at the same time, I lost 2K DP with that attack. Like with Lady Dev, I felt good attacking with 8K. Or I could swing over my opponent's level 5s if they were suspended or whatever very easily with Lady Dev. So I'm losing that aggression, but at the same time, I got this inheritable. And the Lady Dev inheritable is really good. It pops a level 3, right, when you
play an option.
When you play an option, which we play a crap ton of options, right?
Yeah.
So it definitely did a lot of work, but I like the +1 memory on both of these 2 to really just give, you know, all of a sudden you're nail boning for free, but then you gain 2 memory, right? So lots of fun. But what I think my favorite part about this card, after all of that, you have the Retaliation, is the when Digivolving effect. Draw 2, trash 2, right? So this really helps set up the fact that you could draw 2 Skull Greymons, then trash those 2 Skull Greymons, and add 2 more sources to your stack for MetalGarurumon. So I really like the Blue Mara. I like the Lady Dev because it has that same ability of the draw 2, trash 2. If this card did not have the draw 2, trash 2, I wouldn't play it, even with that inheritable. The Lady Dev would stay. It's the draw 2, trash 2 that's very important in this, right? Allows you to accelerate your hand, get your pieces quickly, whether it's the options that you need to Digiburst, and then allows you to trigger these Skull Grey effects. Skull Grey, obviously, we've talked about it a little bit with what it does when you trash it from hand. You can tuck it underneath the body. I've even had times where I tuck the Skull Grey underneath a level 3 that's already on board, so then I can retaliate into something else because it has the inheritable of retaliation. So I'm a big fan of that as well. But I also like the fact that, let's say I just didn't get Blue Maramon, and this is the level 5 that I have. I can swing with this, trash a card to trigger Sunomon to start drawing more cards, and then he becomes a 10k body when he attacks.
Boy. Yeah.
So, very good removal, high DP body, because he has 7 on his own, but he gains 3 with that particular effect. So I'm a big fan of the 5s of this deck. I do miss Chimeramon, and I'm like on the fence about wanting to put it back in, but I think you'll see why I'm kind of sticking with these ratios because of the fact that I'm so tight on room with playing a lot of options to Digiburst. For the boss.
There he is.
MetalGarurumon, Digiburst. You lose if you don't see him.
Play 8 if you could.
You really, you got it. I'd play 6 if I could. Great card. Digiburst 2. Play an option of 7 or less. Does not specifically say just 7s. You can play. You can play Purple Memory Boost with it, which is really fun to do too. And then you get the search. Then you get the delay effect on the next turn when you need it. So let's talk about some options next, shall we? Obviously, boss of the deck, plays a lot of good cards, so I'm playing for Purple Memory Boost. Purple Memory Boost, great card in this deck. It's kind of like what I like to do at the beginning. Obviously, my perfect turn 1 is to get like a level 3 set up and raising, start getting a stack set up, whatever. But what I like about the Purple Memory Boost is that it sets you up early in the game because you need pieces, right?
Yeah.
Our ratios are tight. We need level 4s. We need level 5s. We need the MetalGarurumon. We need these bodies. We need these cards.
It lets you compensate for what you don't draw.
Exactly. So the Purple Memory Boost is really nice. And then this deck does get greedy. It does want you to go from a 4 to a 6 in one turn. And it kind of punishes you if you kind of leave a MetalGarurumon with all of these sources that you didn't get to use that turn because your opponent can just remove it.
Yeah.
And if your opponent just removes it, it almost feels bad. Because then you're like, great, I put all of this work into one, stack, and then it just gets blown up. This deck does take practice, but it's a fun deck to practice for.
So with that Purple Mem Boost, if you hit a MetalGarurumon, even if you have one in hand, what do? Do you skip it?
That's a tough call. It depends what I need, right? Yeah. Obviously, you got to go with the play that's best at the moment, and usually the play that's best at the moment is getting a level that you don't have the Digivolve on. Right, so if you have a 3 and you have a 5 and you have a 6, if you don't have a 4, you grab the 4. Right, if you have no MetalGarurumons, I like to grab it, but it just depends on how many are in trash. Yeah. You kind of have to. This is the strength of Purple. You have to know your deck better than you know any other deck, and you have to know what you can and can't see, and what the odds are, et cetera, et cetera. So you kind of just have to play it by ear at the moment, right?
Got it.
It does suck. Purple Memory Boost can send your options to the bottom of the deck, and we do play a lot of options. So here's like my favorite option in the game. And for all you watching, if you guys love me, if you guys just know you want the best for me in the world, when Digimon releases another survey about what we want as Altarts, put Nailbone down. We need an Altart and Nailbone. I need a shiny Nailbone. Yeah. It's played in Three Musketeers. It's not just my deck that plays it. We need that.
Because we didn't even get a shiny version of that in the reprint set that's coming up too.
Nothing. So, Nailbone, great card. Security Effect only plays 1 level 4 or lower, so it's not the end of the world. You got tons of great targets to play. The main effect when you actually play it, you get to play a 3 and a 4, but on plays don't activate. So, helps you really just Digiburst bodies from your own stack. And then play the bodies from your own stack that you Digibursted with that Nailbone.
Right.
So, and you can create ginormous stacks with this deck to where you can Nailbone 4 times for free.
That's crazy.
Right? If you just have all the pieces and set up. So, I love the Nailbone in this deck. Follow that up with just great removal and Fly Bullet.
Scary security.
Scary security. It just really makes your opponent scared to hit security. It gives you good removal. You can Digiburst with the MetalGaruru. You can play one of each of these when you Digiburst because you'll have at least 4 sources, hopefully, when you're set up, right? So you can remove bodies. You can remove threats. You can Nailbone. You just got so many options. And now the card that I think made me very excited about this format, this set, is Rivals Barrage.
Last 4 cards?
Last 3.
Cards?
Last 3. So room is very tight in this deck.
Yeah.
So if you were going to add Chimeras, you could take out a Memory Boost. If you want to add like a Zwart, I was playing a Zwart in here. You could take out Rivals Barrage, Purple Memory Boost, same thing, cut down on them. If you want to play Death X, if you're feeling extra spicy with that Death X, you can play. you can cut some of this stuff for sure. But this is kind of like for those of you that know me, you know I'm all about the consistency, and this can be an inconsistent deck at times. Yeah. So I like to be consistent. And this was Trump Sword, but reluctantly Trump Sword.
Yeah.
Right? I tried all sorts of things in this spot because he can play 7 or less cost. So you can play Hell's Gate with it, but Hell's Gate didn't trigger insecurity, right? Or it could play Trump Sword, but it would only delete unsuspended level 7s, right? So there's just so many stipulations with that that Trump Sword. And even though Ignite has that same unsuspended, little thing about it, it's definitely not as bad. But Rival's Barrage is the perfect answer of removal I needed. It's a great removal spell that doesn't care about suspended, unsuspended, that can delete level 7.
Yeah, it's a great partner for Fly Bullet.
It's perfect partner for Fly Bullet. And again, you could go down to 2 of it, but I kind of kept it as a 3 because it does have a good security effect. It does have a way to activate a delay effect if you trash it from your deck. The way this plays, I'm not really trashing from my deck. I trash from my hand. Your opponent could trash for you from the deck, and then you could activate that effect. But this is more of you're using this as removal as a kill spell. So, guys, this is it. This is the list that I would have played at the Beelzemon Cup.
I'm so happy we finally got this on the channel. You've had this built since BT4.
For sets now. This has been one of my favorite decks for way too long.
But I think the Rivals Barrage really took it over the top with the Ignites, too. Yeah. So it's time. It's time to get this on the channel, and I would love to see your guys' thoughts. I know people play the Cerberus package with the Revive from Darkness and all that, and Necrophobia even, too. You could, if you were feeling extra crazy, but this is how I like it. I think you guys are going to like it this way. Let us know what you think. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned because we got more killer content coming your way. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.